What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark from BackToMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today we're going to talk about Black Mirror Season 5, Episode 2. This is Smithereens. It does have audio description, and it stars actually a pretty good cast, and I was able to guess at least two of them vocally without knowing what the credits were. I picked up on Andrew Scott and Topher Grace. The other one is Damson Idris, who you would remember uh, from a little racing movie from last year. So, yeah, we've got a decent cast here for a movie that's largely about the impact of social media on society and how addictive it's become. And we see the push notifications, and we want the likes, and we want the follows and the comments and the subscribes, and really how social media has kind of taken over. It's very much a commentary on social media. So in this plot, we start out by seeing actually by following a character who we don't really come back around to until the end. But there's this grieving mother who lost her daughter, and she's been trying to get into her daughter's account, but the social media people won't give her access to it. So she just keeps trying to guess passwords, but she's only allowed 3 tries every 24 hours. So she's come up with all these different things that could possibly be passwords. Every 24 hours, she tries putting them in, and it doesn't work. And we also see she meets Andrew Scott, who's a little reluctant to like go hang out with her, meet her or whatever, but he feels sorry for her. And you get that a lot because through the fact that, she goes home and they have sex, and when she's done, I guess he hasn't finished, which is unusual, I guess. But it shows that he wasn't really involved or into it as much, I guess, and then he doesn't need to be. Like, she's like, well, let me finish you, and he's like, no, you don't have to. No. So he watches her try to do the whole logging in thing, and he just kind of sneaks out. Then we see him as a rideshare driver, and he picks up a young man outside of this company called Smithereens, which is a social media company that is super popular. It's different from the company that the mother's trying to get into, though, which is interesting. And he ends up picking up this young guy who's in a suit, and they drive off, and the kid is looking down at his phone the whole time. That's Damson Idris's character. And turns out Andrew Scott is not as nice of a guy as we thought he might be. And he has a gun, he has a zip tie, and he pulls it on Damson Idris's Jaden in the back seat. And this is where Jaden reveals what unfortunately Andrew Scott was not hoping to hear, that he's just an intern. And you'll come to learn that Andrew Scott's character, has been sort of waiting outside Smithereens, hoping to pick up a Smithereen employee, believing that he'll pick up somebody of value to the company, somebody who can make something happen for him, because he wants to make sure that what he has to say is heard. So he basically picked up somebody in their first week at the job, and it's just this young kid who's I think he's 22. So, but nevertheless, it's what he's got. So he, forces him into this. He's got a second getaway vehicle, puts him in that car, and they drive off. But the cops pick up on him because he was kind enough to let the guy not ride in the trunk, because he's claustrophobic, and he starts freaking out when he's in confined spaces. So he lets him sit in the back seat as long as he has a bag over his head. But of course, when a car drives by with a guy in the back seat with a bag over his head, and cops notice it, they at least are somewhat inquisitive as to why that would be. So they start pursuing, which leads to sort of this hostage standoff. Eventually, we find out more about him and his backstory, and that tragedy has struck Andrew Scott's character a lot throughout his life. And he lost his girlfriend in a car accident. His mom just died recently. He was there taking care of his mom at his house. And so basically he's all alone. He's a former teacher. And they think, well, a former teacher wouldn't have a real gun. But still, let's play it safe. They have a lot of people too. They have all these police and SWAT and various things ready to take him out, and snipers positioned and all sorts of things. News cameras come by, just random people on their phones. So there are parts where Andrew Scott's able to keep up on things because he checks social media to see what people are saying about the situation, realizing the news is reporting on him. We also see it from the Smithereens perspective, because he does leverage Jaden's presence to the company. He has Jaden call his, like, the next highest person up, which is somebody who works in HR, who then calls her boss, who then calls somebody higher up in corporate over in America, who gets to the COO of the company, and she's hesitant to bother the guy that he really wants to talk to, who created the whole platform, Billy something, who's played by Topher Grace, because he's in a cleanse of technology, just out in a house in the middle of nowhere. But that's what this guy's asking for. He'll kill Jaden. So somebody drives out there and appraises him of the situation. And Topher, luckily, his character, Billy, is like, look, I want to talk to the guy. Like, they're all advising him not to. And he's like, are you crazy? Like, the one thing he's asking to is talk to me. What? Like, of course, like, put him through. Like, if this will get the employee back. Like, it's nice to know that he's not, because I thought there was going to be maybe like a thing here about how, because Jaden is such low-hanging fruit, that they were going to say, well, you know, I mean, and other people will kid, and we were going to get into like that sort of like, never negotiate with a terrorist type of thing. But no, he just jumps in and he's like, it's just a phone call. He's like, they're like, well, what if he asks for $1 million? Well, then we'll say we'll give it to him, and well, it'll at least buy us time. You know, it'll at least buy them time to figure out what to do, how to get the kid out of there. So, yeah, it's it leads to a phone call where we see something I kind of thought was going to happen, but I didn't think it was coming from that perspective. I thought that it was going to be the driver who, because there's a neighbor that mentions the accident, and the driver was drunk and hit and killed them. And so he was absolved of it, but he feels guilty because he looked down for 2 seconds because he saw a notification that popped up on his phone. So he thinks that because of that he got his girlfriend killed, and I guess the driver of the other car. My counter to that later would be, the guy was still drunk, and you don't know that would have changed anything. So you're hoping that this is the one thing that would have, that had something gone different, that the drunk guy wouldn't have hit you, because you would have been paying more attention to the road at night. But that's not necessarily the case. Plenty of people get hit by drunk drivers all the time who are paying attention and not looking at their phones. So the fact that they used this as sort of the crux of the episode was a little disappointing. I was hoping that the guy was drunk and looking at, like, he was, like, he found out that the guy got drunk because of something having to do with the app, and so it was this snowball effect. We were going to learn more about it. I didn't realize they were going to try to put this on him, and that he was actually conflicted over whether or not it was his fault or the drunk driver's fault. It's where the messaging kind of lost me a little bit. Otherwise, I think it's a terrific episode, and we got all the way through to the end, and the ending is kind of ambiguous as to like what happens. The trigger's pulled and we see a whole bunch of reactions from a whole bunch of people looking at their phones. And at least through the audio description, it doesn't say whether or not Andrew Scott got shot and killed, or they accidentally hit Jaden, or how the situation resolved. My assumption is that they shot and killed Andrew Scott with the sniper rifle. They missed the first time. I think the second time they hit. So, because Jaden is actually trying to stop, because he knows that as soon as, because Andrew Scott's character is about to let him out of the car, and he knows as soon as he gets out of the car, Andrew Scott's going to kill himself. So he's trying to get him to not do that. And also kind of what Topher Grace tries to get him to. He picks up on that too, that this guy's there to kill himself, not really to kill Jaden. And that because he can't live with the guilt of having killed his girlfriend. And so these two people are kind of trying to stop this from happening. There's also a really interesting thing where the social media people like listen in. It also, if you want to go into like the Black Mirror, like scary Big Brother stuff, there's a lot that the social media people are able to find out, and it's like freakish because it's like more than what the government is able to find out. Like they're like 10 steps ahead of the detectives. They're like, yeah, we went through his profile and we know all this about him. And they're like, by the way, we have him on hold, but we have him on like fake hold where he has hold music, but we can still hear him, you know, what he's saying inside the car. So we're going to patch you into that feed. So, delete all your apps. Anyway, we're already screwed. The data's already out there. This is one of those things where it's like, you can try, but like we've already signed up for things. You've already put on services. You already had a social media account. Stuff about you's already out there. Like you can, I guess, stop contributing to it, but good luck. Anyway, so I think that we're just starting to get into like the dangers of AI, and I think we don't really know, and so we're using AI, and I think this is one of those things where like 30 years down the line we'll be like, ah, God, I wish I hadn't started to use AI way back in the day, even for stupid questions, you know. So because it builds like a profile, and so it's like building a file on you, and this company has from all of its use, and they know like when he has used or hasn't used, and they have this whole makeup on him. So I like the episode. The only thing I just really didn't like was the fact that he like, I don't know that he feels more guilty than the drunk driver. I mean, I kind of get that he feels like there's some shame, but he wasn't texting and driving. He wasn't like posting. He didn't take out his phone and try to take a selfie of him driving. He looked down at his phone for 2 seconds. That could have been anything. That could have been a push notification. He could have gotten a text from his mom. Like that could have been anything that happened on his phone that he looked down to for 2 seconds. But it happened to be a push notification from the social media company. So I think that's a bit of a stretch. And the fact that the other driver was drunk. Like, so many people who aren't distracted by phones at all are hit and killed all the time by drunk drivers. So it was a weird sort of twist that I wasn't expecting. I kind of knew that the social media app was going to factor in somehow, but I didn't think he would be the one using it anyway. So I kind of, with Black Mirror episodes, haven't had a lot of time to recap because I was recapping like Gen V, Peacemaker. I'm still doing Only Murders. I've Daryl Dixon. I had a bunch of shows all at the same time that I was moving through, taking up a lot of my time. So Black Mirror, just because I'm not in a rush, I want to tackle these episodes, which are like mini movies. They feel like short films, sort of one by one. So could this happen? Yeah, I don't know why not. I mean, I feel like it probably has happened in some form or another. I don't think that they really used here. They didn't use like unrealistic technology where I was like, oh no, this is impossible. This would never happen. I feel like this is the kind of stuff we deal with on a daily basis, and is one of the more grounded episodes as a result, because there really isn't anything here that is so like, well, that's 10, 20 years down the line, 30, 40, 50. That's science fiction. This feels like this could happen tomorrow. So I don't think that there's really um, too much of a stretch. I didn't really pick up on anything that couldn't happen today, which is kind of scary, but also refreshing for Black Mirror, which is always trying to sort of doom predict, the dangers that we're getting ourselves into in the future. This one does something that happens already and just makes it sort of front and center and relevant. And then the other thing is like, would I do it? Would I do what? I don't even know how to answer that question. I just always ask myself that question about Black Mirror because usually there's a technology that's been introduced, and it's like, would I use this tool? Would I participate in this experience? Would I? No. Uh, I would not take someone hostage so that I could talk to the head of Facebook, like so I could get Mark Zuckerberg on the phone. I think the one nice thing that he does is because Topher Grace's character is like, I'll do anything. Like, let me just, like, I got to be able to do something for you. And so that's when we come back around to the mother, because he gets that guy. He's like, are you friends with the owner of this other social media company? He's like, yes. So he calls that guy and they unlock this girl's, like, they give her the password to her daughter's account so she can unlock it and see the messages in the profile for her daughter. So, uh, I guess I would do that, but I mean, like, not in a situation like this. Not this is not how I would get to that. But like, if I don't know, met Mark Zuckerberg and I needed him, and then he was like, "Yo, can I do a favor for you?" And I knew somebody who was in a situation like that. I'd be like, "Yeah, can you help out this other person who really is trying to get into this?" And they're in a bit of a jam. They would really love to be able to see their kid's profile, but fortunately, they don't know what the password is. I was thinking, man, with all these password generators, like they're assuming that it's like some place or word or something, but like sometimes they make you and you have to put like a character and some numbers. So I thought that was really unrealistic that she was trying to go through and guess what her daughter's passwords would be, because it's like we have to have like a certain, like a minimum amount of words, and you have to have like special characters. You have to have generally like something has to be capitalized and some numbers, and good luck, you know? Um, and you only get 3 tries a day. So, uh, I think, I think it's just really unrealistic to think that she would have ever gotten there without his help. But, so, I don't even know how to answer the question of like, would I do it? Because I don't know what it is that I would do. Like, I would not take someone hostage, but that's not technology. That's not the kind of technology that they use in Black Mirror. The kind of technology used in Black Mirror is social media, and we already do that. Like we use social media. Technically, I'm posting this on like a version of a social media platform, YouTube. So yes, I guess I would. Would I look down at it while driving? Again, like, depends on the situation. I think if I was on a dark road at night, I grew up around a place where, you'd have like deer whistles in our car. So I would be more astute and looking out for that kind of shit anyway, regardless of drunk drivers. So I think I would not look at my phone unless like it was like an emergency and it was like a special like ringtone or something from somebody, and I was like, oh my God, my mom, I should have told her where I was. Uh, I forgot to call home. So other than that, no, fucking everything else can wait. Um, yeah, but that's just growing up with somebody who knew multiple people who had hit deer and were in the hospital and totaled their cars and all stuff like that. So paranoid from that. No, I would not. In the middle of the night, if I could see again and was driving a car, would not. Don't care what the notification is. So yeah, it's we already use social media. I don't know how to answer this part of the question, but I did like the episode. I just didn't like the fact that this one thing that they hooked onto Andrew Scott's character, because I feel like it's like trying to absolve the guy who's a drunk driver, and I don't like that part of it either. Like, we should encourage alcoholism, you know, like, be like, oh, what's worse? Oh, well, it's worse to like look down at your phone and see a notification. No, no. I mean, I guess like you're trading one addiction for another, but at least I missed the part where he like picked up his phone and started playing around with it. Like, he wasn't texting while driving, you know, which is something that this could have tackled, was that he was texting while driving, or somebody messaged him, or he was responding to a comment, or like he was actually like actively doing something on his phone. But he says he just sees something, that somebody liked a photo of his, or a comment that he put on a photo, and then it was like just 2 seconds and his eyes were down. Man, your eyes could have gone down for like literally anything, like at that point, you know. um uh, your eyes could have drifted over to your girlfriend for 2 seconds. Like, I it's just such a weird thing to include, as being like the whole, we base this entire episode on this one moment, and this guilt that has been riding with him for all these years. So yeah, I that's the only thing that really hangs me up. I'm still giving letter grades to Black Mirror. I'm not giving letter grades to anything else, just because might as well. Um, Aside from that, this episode's like perfect. It was a great time. I didn't rely heavily on some weird new brain chip thing that we had to implant. It was very sobering, and I'm gonna give it an A minus. So thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the other side.